wasn't invited to a coworker's wedding and she won't shut up about it. Okay, so the title of this story is I wasn't invited to a friend/coworker's wedding, but other friends were. Unsure of how to have her stop talking to me about her big day. Yeah, so like how much is she talking about it? Like, is she doing it in a way that's like kind of rubbing it in your face? Or is this just like, has she had a discussion with you as to like why you weren't invited? Like, I'm curious, but like, let's let you elaborate.
It's story time.
I met my friend Amanda at work over 3 years ago. She was new to the team and I had the opportunity to help train her. We clicked instantly and became really good friends fast. Oh, okay, so like you're friends. Yeah, that's awkward. There was never any doubt in my mind that we weren't close friends. Although her schedule was slightly different than mine, she gets off work an hour or two after I do, we always made plans and met up for shopping, drinks, hanging out, and double dates with our boyfriends. Okay, so like not just work friends, like we hang out outside of work. Obviously, we have mutual friends we work with, and we all try to have dinner together every once in a while or go out to a bar/club. I was very happy for Amanda when she got engaged to her longtime high school sweetheart just over a year ago. They are absolutely perfect for one another, and when she showed me the ring, I was floored with how pretty it is. I did ask when the wedding would be, and she said in the late summer of 2017. It's coming up in August.
I'm so excited!
She has spoken to me almost daily about her wedding planning process, which I'm totally fine with. One day, while we were hanging out, she proactively told me she wasn't inviting close friends and coworkers to the ceremony. Okay. She wanted a small and intimate wedding with her and her soon-to-be husband's family, and then everybody would be invited to the reception after. This seemed like a really good idea, and I said I liked that a lot. However, after she sent out invitations, 3 mutual friends/coworkers Snapchatted their invitations. It is not just a reception-only invitation. Ooh.
She lied.
Okay. So wait, did we exclude you entirely from the wedding or just the wedding? The snaps weren't sent directly to me, but were on their story, and I just so happened to see them while clicking through. I was hurt I didn't receive an invitation, even if only to the reception, but I didn't bother bringing it up to Amanda. Ooh.
Okay.
We don't know what's happening in the story, but I think like at a certain point she told you that you would be invited at the very least to the reception, and you're not. Could it have been that your invitation got lost in the mail? It's possible. We didn't do printed invitations. We tried to cut costs in like any way possible. And to me, spending money on a print invitation is kind of silly, you know? So we went and we did like the digital route. And there were people that were like,
oh, well, we didn't get a physical invitation, so like they don't really want us there.
And this has also happened to a good friend of mine as well, who invited her boss or her mentor. And because he didn't get a physical invitation and only an e-invitation, his wife was like, oh, well, she doesn't like really care about having you there. Yeah, there's weirdness with the invites. And I think it goes without saying that like weddings are getting very expensive. If we can cut costs in certain ways, we're going to. It could be possible that your invitation got lost in the mail.
Oopsie.
I feel like e-invitations work a lot better because what if this kind of thing happens? I don't know. Maybe she did not invite her. Let's read on. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt most of the time. Clearly, we weren't as close friends as I thought, and she had already made it clear to me she had no plans of inviting friends and coworkers. However, since she had invited some other girls we work with, I figured it was just a roundabout way of her politely telling me I wasn't invited while trying to spare my feelings. However, she still talks to me daily about her wedding that's coming up in just a few months, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. She constantly talks about everything. Recently, she talked my ear off during our lunch break about her dress, and she showed me all of the pictures she took in it before sending it off to get altered. It's a very pretty dress, but it was a harsh reminder I won't be there to see her in it or celebrate her marriage. Are we sure you don't have an invite? Like, are we sure? I don't know. I'm perfectly polite and engaged in our conversations when she speaks to me about her wedding, but it's the only topic that ever comes up, and any attempt to change it up somehow comes straight back to her big day. Okay, so if she did overtly not invite you and kind of uninvite you, because she did invite you at first, if she didn't invite you to her wedding, her talking about her wedding in front of you is really rude.
How rude.
It's really rude. Getting married is super exciting. It consumes you for like literally an entire year. And also people usually really like talking about it with you. It's like a fun thing to like chat about. There's always, like, oh, what are we doing? Oh, what's happening? It's fun. It's a fun thing to talk about. I also love talking about other people's weddings too. It's obviously hard to avoid sometimes, especially if other people bring it up, but generally, if you are getting married and you didn't invite someone, keep it on like a need to know basis. And like also maybe bring up the fact that like, hey, listen, we really had to be careful about the guest list here. Believe me, the guest list for a wedding gets out of control fast. You've got parents kind of pushing you to invite like random cousins you've never met, and you feel kind of like obligated. And like, before you know it, it becomes this thing where I know for me, it was like mostly family with like a few friends. Or, maybe your partner has a much bigger family. So there's a million different reasons why someone isn't invited to a wedding. I think it's important to, if you're going to be talking about it in front of someone who isn't invited, you got to have that conversation as to like why they weren't invited. Anyways, I'll let her finish.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish.
But I am curious to know if there was some sort of miscommunication. I don't know. I get it. She's excited and she's allowed that, but it stings a lot. Yeah, you have a right to be upset, especially if she left you out on purpose.
Not very kind.
Obviously, I've distanced myself from hanging out with her as much because her thoughts on our friendship were drastically different than mine. How can I politely tell her to stop talking to me about it without hurting her feelings or having it turn nasty? And if it does turn nasty, how should I even begin to handle it? I don't think Amanda would make things nasty. She's very nice, but I don't want her to feel like I'm attacking her in any way and then make a mountain out of a molehill.
Nasty.
I think we need to find out more information. Like, I think that you need to have a conversation that's like, hey, like, I noticed that like, so-and-so was invited and, they were invited to the whole thing. And like, I just want to like clarify, like, am I invited? Because I never saw an invitation from you. Like, is it possible that it got like lost in the mail?
Activating shrug mode.
Let's do that before we assume. It is entirely possible that that the invitation might have gotten lost. Otherwise, she is like overtly being very tacky with the way that she's just talking about it in front of you, all the while knowing that you're not invited. Like, I don't know.
That's messed up.
Okay, so people in the comments are saying you could say this: Amanda, I know you're really excited about your wedding, but it feels weird to talk about it all the time when I'm not a guest. And then offer up a change of subject. Okay, yeah, that's good. OP liked this suggestion. Some people are pointing out that it is entirely possible she forgot to send an invitation. This actually happened to me recently, and the bride did eventually message me that she was so sorry, she didn't realize she forgot to send it, and the planning has been hectic and she definitely wanted me to come, okay?
It's a possibility.
OP said it is entirely possible she thought of me as a peripheral friend and simply forgot. I just don't think it's worth the energy trying to figure that out now after the fact. OP added, unfortunately, she doesn't know my address and never asked for it after telling me that friends and coworkers weren't going to be invited. So I'm sure it isn't an issue of an invitation getting lost in the mail. Ooh, yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. OP says she plans on politely nudging her friend to stop talking about her wedding when she approaches her next. I'll update this when that happens. So we do have an update. We do.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
I meant to update this yesterday when I got off work, but I forgot. So here's a slightly late update on what transpired after I received a lot of great feedback and suggestions. I took my second break a little later than usual, hoping Amanda wouldn't notice. Well, she did, and she hopped up from her desk and followed me into the break room. She said hello, asked me how I was, for once.
Conspicuous eye roll.
And before I fully sat down to relax, began chatting about her wedding. Again, I would also argue that like talking about it this much is like, it is annoying, regardless of whether or not like someone is invited or not. I would bring it up if people asked, but yeah, I don't know, like talking about it incessantly like this, it's annoying regardless of whether or not you have an invite. I waited a moment, then politely cut in with a smile and said, Amanda, I really appreciate that you want to share all of this with me, but this talk makes me slightly uncomfortable. She looked confused and asked me why. I was honest and I told her it makes me upset that all she seems to want to talk about to me is her wedding and I wasn't invited. She laughed it off and said, but I didn't invite anyone from work, so it's not just you. Yeah, that's not a good look. So that comment alone made it very clear that I was intentionally excluded from her invitation list. She also said that you were going to be invited to the reception and you're not. I really did want to give her the benefit of the doubt because like it happens, right? Like sometimes you forget to include people. Sometimes invitations literally get put in spam,
We're only human.
It's a common thing that happens and I really did want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but quite frankly, even if you were invited, to incessantly talk about it like this is like super annoying. It's super annoying. Like the world doesn't revolve around you and your wedding. And although it is like a fun thing to talk about, and you know, when it's something that everyone wants to talk about, it's a fun thing to talk about. But like talking about it this much, all the while knowing that you didn't invite someone, like aren't you like embarrassed? Like I would feel so bad. I would feel so bad about it. I would not be able to continue a conversation about my wedding, and it's someone that I didn't invite, without like affirming like, listen, I would have loved to have invited you. The guest list just got out of control and we are literally at capacity and I could not invite anybody else. The fact that she doesn't feel that way and is just so freely like kind of rubbing it in your face in a way is like, you're allowed to be excited, but let's have some decorum, some social decorum. Yes, she has every right to choose who she wants to invite to her wedding, but there's a right way and a wrong way to go about it. Telling me she was excluding a specific group that includes me, then inviting other people and lying to me about that, at that point, is not the right way to go about it. And yeah, she did lie about it. Like, even if you didn't see the invitations, you would have seen other people's like stories on Instagram, like photos taken from the day. Like, you would have found out eventually. The least you can do is talk to people about why they're not invited. Hopefully they'll understand. It's her right to not invite whoever she wants. But at the end of the day, it is tacky to talk about it in the way she is. A simple, hey, I know we're friends and all, but I made the decision to not invite you to my wedding for X reason, would have been totally okay, and I would have respected that decision 100%. I kind of gave her a weird look and said, but you invited friend 1, 2, and 3. I saw it on their Snapchat stories a while back, unless that was a mistake. I have never seen a woman turn around so fast and bolt out of a room. She looked positively angry. I imagine she went to find all 3 of the girls and tell them that I found out. Either way, I got to enjoy the last few minutes of my break in peace. She didn't approach me for the rest of the day and avoided me as we both walked the same path to leave the building and get to the general area where we had parked our cars. Safe to say, I've lost a few friends, but I'm not heartbroken about it. I'm just glad there wasn't any drama involved in my saying anything, and I'm pretty sure all 4 of them will be avoiding me from here on out.
Because we are better than them.
Thank you to everyone who took the time to read my post and gave me some advice, both good and bad. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And the thing is like, people do take it personally when they don't get invited. It is what it is. Me personally, like, I honestly don't understand why OP didn't get an invite. Like, if they're regularly hanging out, the way that I kind of decided was like, do we talk? Do we talk on a regular basis? Have I talked to you in the last year? Were you supportive of my relationship? All of these things, like, if we haven't spoken in like a year, we haven't hung out in a long time, like maybe, you know, we've drifted apart and we live in different places now, but like, if we're regularly keeping in contact, that is like the deciding factor for me.
Reasonable.
I don't understand why OOP was not invited. I really don't get it. So I would take that as a slight if I were her. It is personal because at the end of the day, you want, you know, your favorite people around you on your wedding day. And if someone doesn't regard you as their favorite person when you regard them as your favorite person, it stings. It hurts. It's a slap in the face. And OOP has the total right to feel the way she does. So OOP updated like 10 days later in the comments and said, the bride hasn't approached her at all. None of the other girls have. She proactively removed all of them from her social media, so I didn't give them a chance to remove me first. Okay, sounds like the friendship is over. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that the friendship had to end and you had to find out that way. But at the end of the day, you weren't invited. For God knows what reason why. We got some more petty coworker drama for you. Don't go anywhere. Am I the a-hole for giving all my coworkers a different reason for why I have missing fingers? Ooh, we got a fun one. I have 3 fingers missing on my dominant hand. It's fine.
Hey, no big deal.
I can type and everything and even manage to tie my shoelaces most days. And on the days I can't, that's the dyspraxia. I hope I said that correctly. However, I won't deny that it looks a bit odd to most people. I only have my 4th and 5th fingers, so my hand looks a little bit like a child's drawing of a rabbit. What? And not a good one. 4th and 5th fingers. Is that these or these? Can you do this? Clock it. I'm used to people asking about it, usually after staring for a good minute or 2, but I still find it annoying. I really don't get why you think it would be okay to ask someone about it, but hey, I wasn't raised in a barn.
Moo?
Usually I nip the question in the bud by explaining the truth from the get-go and assuming enough people will gossip about it that the message will spread by the end of the day. It always Always does. Anyway, I started a new job about a month ago and I could honestly not face going through that same cycle again. I felt like the time had come to not play into it anymore and make something out of it. And I decided to make myself laugh.
Here we go.
When the first new coworker asked about it, I completely lied and told her I chewed them off as a baby. Oh my god, okay. I then decided to tell the next person who asked that I cut them off with a plastic knife at a picnic. And the next person that I was born with 6 fingers and they removed too many and so on. These are all kind of like, I don't know if I would believe that, but okay. All genuinely ridiculous reasons, but I'm a good actor and they actually believe my stupid lies. I didn't expect them to. A plastic knife through bone? Yeah, but there you go. Maybe they just thought there's no way I'd lie about how I lost my fingers. Within about 3 days, I learned my coworkers had been arguing about the actual reason, and it seems like a lot of them now actively dislike me for lying to them. I'm probably going to have to make some cupcakes over the weekend with my super cool 3D printed adaptive whisk to get back into their good books. But like all you proved is that people like to gossip about your fingers. They are mad at you, be like, so why were you talking about me behind my back?
Good point.
Anyways, I told this story to my brother today and he told me I was an a-hole because I caused tension within the office on my first day and made people feel stupid for being gullible and believing my lies. I'm sorry, I disagree. Ugh. Like, you just had a bit of fun, and if anything, like I said, you proved that they're talking about your fingers behind your back.
Gossip girl.
What?
My argument is that I'm not the a-hole because they were asking a rude, albeit common question, and because I didn't do it with the intention of deceiving them, I was just honestly fed up of the question, and they didn't think I'd actually severed 3 fingers with dental floss when I was 3.
Someone's flossing.
I'll accept my judgment though. Okay, so this was his first day at work, and within the first day, people are already curious and asking about it and gossiping about it. Like,
it's honestly rude.
Why are you asking? It's none of your business. And yes, people are gonna be curious, you know, they are. It's kind of a hard thing to not notice, but like, I think that you proved a point, and I don't think that you owe anybody an explanation. It's none of their business why you don't have any fingers. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but let's read the comments. Update, gonna check out here. I think getting real tired of explaining why it's not cool to ask people why they lost limbs or digits just because you want to state your morbid curiosity. A few reminders for people, I'm not a male, don't know why, everyone assumed that.
Oops.
Don't ask people about something that could be traumatic, especially when you don't know them. And when making cupcakes, always cream the butter.
Duh.
Noted. Not the a-hole, this is funny, and anyone offended is being way too uptight. I agree. I feel like this is like a very funny way of like making light of a situation. And like, why are they mad about your fingers and like not knowing the real reason why you don't have all of them? Like, I fail to understand how this concerns them at all. Oh my God. Your coworkers are so damn rude, not the a-hole. They aren't supposed to ask you for your fingers at first place, let alone discussing it and talking behind you. What I said. You were embarrassed and pissed off at them, asking the same questions and not minding their own business, so you joked about it, but they were so dumb to recognize it. You are not the a-hole. Coworkers are, though. I agree with this. Yeah, unless you bring it up first, I fail to understand why they're even talking about it. It's kind of like body shaming. It's kind of like, you know, pointing out someone's size.
Mind your business.
I even get annoyed when people like point out my height. I get annoyed when people point out my hair, you know, because like I know they're thinking like, oh, does the carpet match the drapes? Like, yes, it's natural. F off. Almost every time is always followed by a, oh, like you're pretty for a redhead. The f is that supposed to mean? I think the general rule of thumb is like, unless somebody brings it up, don't talk about it. It's none of your business. Not the a-hole because that's hilarious and they must be idiots. Yeah. Your coworkers are rude and it's none of their business. You probably should have waited a little while before you start blowing smoke up people's asses. If the first thing they do when there's a new coworker is like ask them about their the fingers, they should have waited a little while before asking about the fingers.
Goes both ways.
It's always good to get a handle on your coworkers and give them a chance to realize they're being idiots before resorting to snark. Side note, about 10 years ago, give or take, I knew a guy who was born with his fingers fused together. They were amputated when he was a baby. He was the most amazing Guitar Hero player I've ever seen in my life. He destroyed everyone and took great pleasure in making sure we knew he crushed us with his nubs. I miss that guy. Aww. So I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. Like, yes, they're embarrassed, but at the same time, I think it goes without saying that, like, they shouldn't have brought it up in the first place. It's a little weird. And they shouldn't have talked to you behind your back and argued about why you have missing fingers. Like, seriously? So, kind of on a similar topic, we have another petty coworker office drama saga. Am I the a-hole for calling my coworker chunky after she repeatedly calls me slim and makes references to my weight after I asked her multiple times not to? Okay, so we're kind of like on theme.
Why are people so rude?
I have a female coworker who repeatedly calls me out regarding my weight. I'm female, 5'9", 115 pounds, and very thin. She is very overweight. All the time, she makes comments about my weight. She doesn't call me by name. She calls me slim. Oh.
That's not good.
And I even heard her say one time, go ask toothpick. So this is what I'm saying is that, like, talking about other people and their bodies is just like, it's really none of your business. And I think that, like, you know, it goes without saying you're not supposed to call people fat, right? You're not supposed to, like, bully people. You know, we're all body positive over here. But body positive goes both ways. You're really not supposed to comment on it.
That's so obvious.
It really isn't any of your business why someone is the size that they are. And sometimes it's cultural. My Vietnamese best friend's mom is like almost always commenting on my weight. And it's like, it's a thing in many, many, many cultures, like Chinese culture, Korean. They're very obvious about, you know, the way they feel about body types. You know what I mean? Eek! But at the same time, it's like, it doesn't mean that, that these sort of comments are like welcome, you know?
Hashtag preach.
She said stuff like, you need some meat on your bones and you need to eat. I've only worked there 8 days. Ugh, brother, so annoying. Like, it's literally so annoying. I've asked her very nicely to stop. Yeah, the commenting on people being thin is like, it's so like normalized. Just because someone is thin does not mean that they're unhealthy, okay? Some people really are genetically predisposed to being thin. Just like some people are genetically predisposed to being bigger.
With this metabolism?
You never know what's going on. It's none of your business. Yesterday, I asked her to stop calling me slim again, and she basically said it's her mouth and she can say what she wants. Not in an office setting, actually. Sounds a lot like workplace harassment. Just saying. Today, when she said, "Morning, Slim," I replied, "Morning, Chunky."
Oh, snap.
And she got upset and actually started crying. Why is it okay for her to call you like anorexic and it's not okay for you to call her chunky?
Make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, this one's gonna ruffle some feathers. There could be, you know, a positive connotation associated with calling someone slim. There's usually negative connotations with calling someone chunky. But at the same time, OP has asked this woman to stop, and she refuses to stop. Me personally, I would have gone straight to HR because now it's like a he said, she said kind of thing. You both kind of said things that were rude to each other. I would have gone directly to HR and been like, listen, like I'm getting harassed in the workplace. I've asked her to stop. She won't. So I'm going to need you to step in.
Kick the door down.
Everybody here at work, only 6 of us total, is saying I'm wrong and should apologize because being called fat is different than being called skinny because being called skinny is a compliment. Not always. Not always. But I see where they're coming from. I said, as long as she calls me slim, I will call her chunky, and now I'm the bad person. Am I the a-hole if I don't apologize? The owner manager has completely ignored the situation, saying it's a high school issue and we should figure it out. Do you guys not have like HR? Oh no, edit for more info. We don't have HR. Okay. There's only 6 of us working here. It's a cupcake shop.
Cupcakes.
We are all regular employees. Okay, well, if there's no HR, I went to the owner before I called her chunky and asked him to talk to her because I felt she was harassing me. That's when he said we can handle it ourselves.
Am I the boss, man? I'm the boss.
That's why I called her chunky. I told her to stop calling me slim, and I didn't like it, and she continued to do it. She didn't stop doing it after I asked multiple times, and I didn't know what to do besides what she was doing to me. She brought up my weight, I brought up hers.
An eye for an eye.
I mean, listen, I feel like you're both kind of wrong in this scenario. I see why you did it. I do. You know, Reddit called this person not the a-hole. I understand you didn't really have another option because you didn't have HR. Sometimes I'm like, be the bigger person. Sometimes I'm not. I do know that like being called slim probably has more of a positive connotation to it than being called chunky. But the issue is that OP is uncomfortable with it and has asked the coworker to stop. I could go with the grain and just be like, yeah, not the a-hole. I don't know. Let's see what everybody else had to say. Not the a-hole by a long shot. Just because she apparently defines herself by her appearance does not give her the right to define you by yours. Objectification sucks, period.
Hell yeah.
It's an arsehole thing to do, but sometimes you need to be an arsehole. See, this is the thing. Just because someone is an a-hole in a scenario doesn't mean that they're wrong. Skinny shaming is a thing and it's effed up. People continue after telling them, I have a wasting disorder. You have to be rude to get people to stop, even otherwise polite people. They don't see it as a problem. Yeah, it really is a problem, and I think it goes without saying that nobody should be commenting on anybody else's bodies. Like, other than, you look good. Damn, like, you look good today. There should be no comment whatsoever unless it's something positive. Your body is nobody else's business. Play games, win prizes. Okay. All right, I'm gonna leave this one up to you guys. Was this person the a-hole? I feel like she was a little bit. Maybe being an a-hole is justified in this scenario. And if it got her to stop, then who cares, right?
The job's done.
Sis guy!